I just built this complete full stack Flutter mobile application in a new AI tool called DreamFlow. Yeah, seriously, a fully functional production ready Flutter app that could literally publish to the App Store right now. And here's what makes this different from every other AI coding tool that you have used for mobile application development. While Bolt, Lovable, and other AI tools build cross-platform mobile applications using Expo, DreamFlow builds native Flutter applications, and it's one of very few tools that actually helps you to create Flutter mobile applications in a web-based AI code editor. That means real native performance, access to all the device features, and apps that feel like they were hand-coded by a professional team. And I just started with this simple prompt: build a fitness tracking app with workout logging, progress charts, and a social feed. That's it, one prompt, no Expo workarounds, no web wrapper limitations, just pure Flutter. And also one more important thing, to build backend for your application, you can use either Supabase or Firebase. So both Supabase and Firebase are great platforms to build backend for your application. But for Flutter apps, I believe Firebase is a better option because Firebase is a platform by Google and Flutter is also a framework by Google. So this tool gives us freedom to either choose Firebase or Supabase. So let's dive deep and start exploring more about this tool, and let me just show you that how you can build cross-platform Flutter mobile applications using this tool. So before you start, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and click on that like button as well, and also please hype this video. It will help us to reach more audience. Alright, so to start using DreamFlow, just go to dreamflow.app or just click on the link in description. You can directly then open this page. There are different pricing packages, but I think you can just start with the free plan. So simply just click on get started, and then you can just log in using your Google account. And once you're logged in, this is how it will show. And now you can see, you can find your projects in here, you can find the documentation, and also you can find different kind of templates in here. If you want to start with a template, you can just choose any of these templates, or you can just like provide your prompt, just explain in your own simple words what sort of app you want to build, and this tool will build an app for you. So in my case, I'm just going to build this fitness tracking app with workout logging, progress charts, and a social feed. So this is just a simple prompt, and now I can simply just press enter, and now it will start building our app live here in real time. You can see it has just created this plan, and now it is going to start writing code and set up a proper project for us. But now you can see on this top section, we are on this second stage, which is generate. So the first stage was prompt, where we provided it with a prompt, and now we are on generate section, where it is generating code and developing this application. And then the next step will be jump in, where we can actually preview this application and actually test this application. So you can see it created this architecture.md file, and here you can see there is this MVP feature section, there is technical stack, and then there is data models, and then there is data model that includes ID, name, email, avatar, bio, and like other database related stuff. Now it is creating data models. While it is developing this app, you can see on the left side it is actually completing these tasks, the tasks that it listed here initially. The first task was to plan the overall application architecture. The second task was to add required dependencies for state management. Then the third task was to define data models for workouts, and then fourth task was for design and implementing the main UI screens. Then it is developing the core logic for the tracking workouts, and once all of these tasks are completed, then it will just show us a preview of the application. Okay, perfect. Within just a couple of minutes, our app is ready, and now it is showing us this preview for the application. Let me just show you previously when I gave the same prompt. So this is what it created. So I gave it the same prompt to test this tool for this tutorial. Here you can see this is the app that it created. It has this progress charts, and in this new version of this application, you can see the progress charts look something like this, but I like the previous version of these progress charts. It has these proper graphs here, and then there is this feed as well, social feed, where different people can actually share their experiences. You can leave a comment, and you can even post in here. Similarly, you can see in our new version of this app, we have this community section. You can now keep on building more features. You can just like explain it if you want to like add or edit any sort of features. So let's suppose if you want to implement a workout reminder notification system using Flutter_local_ notifications, so it can build that for you. You can add a feature to export workout data as a CSV file, and you can also create a customizable exercise library where users can add their own exercises. All of this and any more features you can add just by explaining it here in this chat box. Now on this left side, you can find the widget tree here. So now you can access all of these widgets that we have in this application, and you can see on this left side there are these widgets. The first one is this home screen. So this is like our main home screen, and you can see there is this container, and then there is this bottom navigation bar, and that navigation bar has these 4 different icons. The first one is this workout, then progress, then the third one is this feed, and the fourth one is the profile. So you can easily customize these widgets here visually. This is something that you will not find in Bolt and Lovable that this tool has. Now if you just want to access any of these widgets in code and you want to like make changings by yourself inside code, so you can just like maybe right click and then you can just go to this go to code, and now you can exactly like locate inside that particular section where that widget is defined inside code. After widgets there is this theme section, and you can manage different settings inside this theme section. You can manage your brand colors, you can manage the typography settings, you can just like change different font sizes. Let's suppose the settings for display are these, you can just like change these settings, and also settings for headline is this. For title we have got these settings, so you can just like totally customize everything visually in here. If you just don't want to like use the chat functionality from here to customize anything, you can just like change them visually in here. The next section that you'll find in here is this assets section. So if you just click on that, and now any sort of images and any sort of audio files or video files or any sort of documents or any third-party fonts that you want to add or any sort of files that you want to use inside your application, you can just like upload it in here inside this asset section. If you just click on this add button, and now you can just like upload any sort of files in here inside this assets section, and then you can just simply use that inside your application. Right now you can see inside this images section we got this one image only, which is this DreamFlow icon. So we are using this as an icon of this application. The next section is Supabase. If you just click on that, now you can just like connect your Supabase account in here. If you just click on connect to Supabase, and now it is asking you to log in into your Supabase account. You can select choose your Supabase account, and after that you can simply just click on this authorized DreamFlow. Simply just click on that, and now your Supabase account will be connected in here. But for that, make sure that you have already created a Supabase account. If I just go to supabase.com, and here if I just like sign in using my Google account or GitHub account or whatever, and then I just click on this dashboard button in here, you can find my organization. So this organization has 3 projects and this organization has no project, and here you can see my Supabase account is connected, and now I can just like choose a project from here. There are several different projects in here. Let me just choose this first one, and now I can just like maybe connect with this project, or I can simply just click on create a new Supabase project, and then I can just like create project for my Supabase account directly from here inside DreamFlow. So you can see your project is created. These are your project details. This is your project name. This is your project ID, your API URL, your anon key, and then your database password as well. Normally you have to copy all of these keys and all of these details inside your AI code editor, but here everything was automatically fetched inside DreamFlow. I can now even open this project inside Supabase by simply just click on this open Supabase, and then you can see I can access this project in here. Now if I just want to maybe create an authentication system, I can directly ask it to create an authentication system, then create relevant tables or anything that is required to be created on the backend side. It will automatically create that using these Supabase settings, and also whatever database schema it will create, it will automatically deploy those schema changings directly from here. We can also automatically generate the client code for Supabase in here. I can simply click on generate client code, and now you can see in this chat section it is generating the client code for Supabase. So right now you can see the DreamFlow AI agent it was configuring the backend in Supabase, and after that it did read the existing Supabase config.dart file and update it with the proper client code for the fitness tracking app. So it read all of these different files which are present inside my source code, and then it updated this Supabase config.dart file and also this Supabase tables.sql file. Just updated all of these different files in here. You can find this SQL query as well that it is going to run inside Supabase to create tables. Now it is creating the login and sign up screens. So as you can see, this is login_page.dart file, and for sign up it is creating this signup_page.dart file, and then it is updating this main.dart file to check authentication state and navigate accordingly. Okay, right now you can see it has just finished integrating Supabase and our authentication system is here. You can see there is this sign up screen and the login screen as well. So let me just try to log in this test version. So I've just provided my email and my password. Now I can simply just click on sign up, and now let's just wait if it allows us to sign up. So failed to create user, failed to insert from user, could not. Okay, fine. And here you can see on my email I just received this confirmation email. Right now you can see 0 minutes ago. So now I can simply just click on this confirm emails, and then I can just log in into my application. Now let's just verify that inside our Supabase dashboard to see if our email was stored in database or not. So if I just go to this authentication tab inside my project, this is my project, and now if I just go to this authentication tab, and here you can see our email is here. This was signed up on October 16th at 10:24. Right now you can see it's 10:26, so 10:24 p.m. it was just like this record was created at this time, and this is the email, this is the UID. So that means our backend is working. Now let's just try to log in inside our application. So I have already provided my email and my password. I'll simply just click on sign in, and now you can see we are just signed in into our application. That's amazing. Similarly, you can connect to Firebase if you want to like build backend for your application inside Firebase, or if you just want to use Firebase for any other purpose. Maybe you want to use Firestore, which is like a real-time database, so you can use Firestore as well. So you can simply just click on this connect to Firebase button, and automatically, just like Supabase, it will connect to Firebase. Make sure that you have a Firebase account. So just log into your Firebase account. You don't need to do anything because this DreamFlow agent will take care of everything. Now the most important part is publishing this application. You can publish this application directly from this dashboard. If you just click on this publish button, here you can see you can publish your application on web, and even you can publish your application on iOS and even on Android as well. To publish a mobile application is different than publishing a web application. So to publish a mobile application for Apple devices on your Apple App Store, you need to have an Apple developer account, which costs $99 per year. And if you want to publish your application on Android, you can just like do that totally. So if you just want to test your application on Android phone without publishing it, I'll guide you in a minute. But if you want to publish your application on your Google Play Store, you can do that too easily. But for that, you need to buy your Google Play Developer Console account, which will cost you $25, and that's for lifetime. For lifetime, you can buy an account for Google Play Developer Console. So if you have purchased your Apple developer account, you can just like provide your details in here. You can provide your ASC key ID, you can provide your ASC issuer ID, and then your App Store app IDs, also your bundle identifier and your build number. All of these details you can provide from your Apple developer account. There is this very detailed documentation about this. You can just like follow this documentation to provide all of these details from there. You can see there is this detailed step-by-step tutorial that how you can set up everything on your Apple developer account, and then you can just provide all of those details in here. Similarly, for Android, you can provide your details in here. You can also publish your application on web because this application was developed on Flutter. So Flutter actually allows you to publish your applications on web as well. So you can just like publish your application as a web application. So you can just like do that simply by simply clicking on one-click deployment. So you can just like simply click on that, and then it will just deploy your application on their server. You can attach your own custom domain as well. Now, another most important thing is if you want to download this source code and then you want to maybe like carry on further development inside your local IDE, something like VS Code, Cursor, Windsurf, or Klein, RuCode, Augment Code, any of those like local AI, like native AI coding agents. So to do that, what you can do, you can simply just click on this button on this top left, and then you can simply just click on this download code. Simply just click on that, and then what it will do, it will just download your source code in a zip file. So here you can see I have just downloaded this source code inside this folder, and now I then just opened that inside VS Code, and I'm using Augment Code as my AI code editor. And here you can see I just gave it this prompt: you are inside a Flutter project, please understand it and run it and create a test APK to test my app on Android phone. So I just like gave it this simple prompt, and then what it did, it just like installed all of the dependencies, and after that it just created this APK file for me. So you can see, let me just open that. This APK file I can now directly run inside my mobile phone. Remember at the beginning when I showed you that I just developed this Flutter mobile application, so I installed this APK file on my mobile phone. So this is an installable APK file. You can just like install it on your Android phone, and even if you want to like further customize your application and add further functionalities in your local native IDE, you can totally do that by simply just giving it this prompt in here. So this is how simple and easy it is to build Flutter mobile applications just by using this kind of web-based AI code editors. And even you can publish your app on App Store as well directly from this dashboard. I hope you liked this video. If you have any further questions, just leave your comments in comment section. I see you next video. Bye bye.